If you introduced yourself first, I would say, hi, my name is Hope. It's nice to meet you. I've worked my entire life to get to this point where, I had a dream, and I literally wrote a paper to my language arts teacher when I was 12 years old, double-spaced, in cursive, in pencil, and it said, when I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player. And I literally never took my eye off of that dream.
I think anytime you're coming back from an injury, no matter who you are, it's hard to then find your place on the team, establish yourself, and she did it so quickly. I think everybody really respected what she's done for the game so far, and who she is now. And, she came in, she worked hard, and she was just her, and people respected that. People liked her, were pleasantly surprised maybe even, and I think she's gained their respect.
Hope Solo is a superstar. People have broken barriers down to try and get her autograph at our games.
I came in and I was like, gosh, how am I gonna do this? I don't want to be that athlete that goes through the motions. I don't just want to show up and do it because I have a contract. And I found myself doing that, and I think Laura knew it. She's like, Hope, if you don't want to be here, just tell me, and I'll respect that. So it took me some time, and then I built some rapport with my teammates. I found respect for Ben, our goalkeeper coach, which is hard to do as a goalkeeper. But I had a lot of respect from Laura right off the bat. I built a great rapport with the other goalkeepers. And then I started really enjoying my teammates. And I'm gonna put this out there, really enjoying my teammates for the first time in a long time. This is different. There is a different environment that I haven't had in a long time here with the Reign.
I've never seen this before. From day one, and we've had a rough season. We came into season losing 9 games, and I feel like any other team, fingers would have been pointed, the wheels would have just been falling off, and it never happened with our team. We came out every day to training, so happy to be here and doing what we love, and just being around each other. It was an amazing feeling. It's really cool.
I was a little worried, what kind of hellstorm am I going to be coming into? To have 1 point basically out of 10 games, but the style of the play and sort of the atmosphere around the team that Laura has set was brilliant. So it was actually, I came in on a road trip as well, which is kind of interesting to come in sort of I just brought all my bags, and right from the get-go, I think, philosophically, I kind of fit in well with the team and what we're trying to do. And it's been
like the most pleasant surprise that maybe I've ever had in my football career, to not really know what I'm coming into, and just everything, like the environment around the team and the girls and the owners. I just feel like it's really professionally run, and it's also really sort of, I guess, human-based, and there's, you know, these relationships that we have, and that's a really important part of this team, and I think, you know, the results maybe don't show it this year, but I think we have something that's pretty special for the future.
But one thing I'd say to get in your head now to be ready for is, they don't set tempo, they just play at 100 miles an hour all the time. So we like to set tempo.
To me, I think we've changed not only like soccer for women, but I think we've changed women's sport in general across the world. And I mean, it's not your kick and chase type of game now. I mean, you look at the United States, you look at Japan, and you're keeping the ball, and it looks almost at times like a men's game. And not to take anything away from the men's game, but we go into hard tackles and we get back up. We're not kind of holding our ankles and rolling around looking for a card, and I think the fans like that.
Oh, fresh. You been on vacation? Hi.
I'm Megan. I'm from Northern California. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. I have a twin sister, Rachel.
I'm Emily Van Egmond. I grew up in a town called Newcastle, about an hour and a half north of Sydney. So I have a twin brother.
It's different than just like a sibling or a family member, of course, because you're, like you said, it's weird to not, like I'm an individual, but I'm also like a we.
I'm Lauren Barnes, and I'm originally from Upland, California. I have an older brother. He's 4 years older, so he got me into all the sports I played growing up.
I think we're, you know, dependent on one another and codependent on each other in different kind of ways, and it's not good or bad, it's just the way it is, and that's just part of being a twin, I guess.
My name's Kaylin Kyle. I was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Dad actually, he represented the Socceroos, so he went to an Olympics. I've only been to a World Cup, so if I can get to an Olympics, I'll have one up on him, because he hasn't been to a World Cup. So yeah, not that it's a competition or anything.
My dad was a professional hockey player, and so I always really looked up to him growing up. And then my sister played soccer, so I was that annoying younger sister that wanted to do everything that she did.
What about your brother?
He's completely different to me. It's like chalk and cheese. Hasn't got one sporting bone in his body.
I'm Keelan, and I have 5 siblings, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. I'm the 4th. Grew up in a pretty athletic family. My dad's a basketball coach, and so we all played sports growing up.
Obviously, my brother being the only boy in the family, Dad probably wanted to see if he was at all interested, and they signed him up to play at our local club, and he was all excited to play, and then they gave him the socks that you have to wear, like the long ones, and he was like, I don't want to wear them. And Dad's like, well, why not? You have to wear it. It's like part of the uniform. And he like refused. So I was on the side like, I want to play, like I'll play. And then they just changed the initial from an M to an E, and that's how I started playing.
I believe I started playing soccer when I was 5 years old. My first team was the Pink Panthers, and my dad was my first coach.
I was always that girl when I was younger. I'd be the first one to train, the last one to leave, and I would train like 6 a.m. in the morning with boys, like just to better myself. And I know that there's lots of people that are given talent, but I think in order to perfect your talent, you have to work at it and believe that you can be that girl standing on a podium and receiving a medal for your national team. And I mean, dreams do come true. I'm sitting here, so.
My name is Jess Fishlock. Technically it's Jessica, but I hate it, so it's just Jess. I play football. I'm still not around to calling it soccer, so football it is from back home. I have played it since I can remember. It's all I've ever wanted to do.
How did you first fall in love with it?
I think it was my brothers. I have 2 older brothers.
My name is Kirsten Dahlstream. I'm from Arizona. I have 2 sisters. I'm in the middle. 3 girls. My poor dad. Luckily, I was very athletic, so he basically treated me as his son, which my mom didn't appreciate so much, but I like sports, so it worked for me.
I wasn't a girly girl when I was a kid. So I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters, so there's 4 girls and 2 boys. So I think I just kind of made an even split.
I looked up to my older siblings growing up, and they kind of, taught me how to be a successful athlete for one, but not only that, but a successful human being. And what I mean by that is that it's never in my family, it's never been about the self.
Who more than anybody has helped you get here?
My brother Gareth. He is amazing.
The whole family, for me, was like the thing that pushed me through. I did everything. I feel like my parents believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and that's huge.
Do you believe in yourself now?
I do, and I always have them when I don't.
What would you say to him through the film?
Oh, wow. Bill said you would do this. I don't think there's enough words.
So nothing you would say?
I think my dad is actually probably the best person I know.
My dad, he's not an emotional guy, and when he was crying at the Olympics, he gave me a hug like over the railing and was like, "I love you." And that that's always stuck with me, and I'll never forget it.
I feel like I've always had kind of an inner belief in myself. I think kind of one of my mottos is to always back yourself, fully, and to always believe that you're the best player.
Megan Rapinoe, obviously, she's honestly the most amazing player I've ever seen. Played with, played against.
To realize, of course, that there's some things that other people do better than me, and there's some things that I do better than other people, but always try to be the best player. Why would you try to be anything less?
And it's kind of hard to play with her, actually, because you get caught staring. You're like, oh my God, how's she gonna do that? Oh, she did it, oh my God. And she just blows your mind every game. It's really cool playing with her.
Life is never what you expect it to be. I remember as a little girl, I believed in whatever, true love and, one person, one right person for everybody. And I always wanted kids. And then as I got older, all of that went out the window. I was like, you know what, maybe you choose who you want to be with, but there's not like that passionate love, that real, real, real love. Not making me cry. But I stopped believing in it.
One day in class, I said, okay, I'm gonna talk to her after class, and I chickened out. So the next day, I ended up, after class, I counted to 3 in my head and said, hi, my name's Keelan, and I've seen you in a lot of my classes this week, and
we should study sometime together. And that's how we met. And I mean, we still talk about it to this day. It was a pretty memorable experience, at least for me, and for her as well, but probably the best decision I've ever made.
I believe in love again. I believe in that real, passionate, I will not cry because I have a bet on this. But no, it was a beautiful thing too at 31. Realize that I finally found what I deserve, and to really have that excitement to one day build a family, to have kids with my husband.
It was right after the Under-20 World Cup in 2008. I went home for Christmas break, and I had decided that semester that I was going to tell my family, so I had a semester to prepare. Before I even got a word out, my mom looks at me and goes, "Keelan, I know."
How was Dad?
How's Dad?
Yeah.
Dad was fine. I think that he's a really strong conservative Catholic, and I admire him, especially for his belief and his faith in God. And I think he struggles with it a little bit, to be honest. But with that said, I mean, when I came out to them, they both gave me a hug and told me how much they loved me and that it was going to change nothing, and it hasn't.
I lost my dad in 2007, right before the World Cup. And I always thought my dad would be around for my first major tournament.
He and I are very much alike in terms of athleticism, and so he always has really, we've always connected at that level and appreciated the physical and mental toughness of playing sports. And he likes that I'm very competitive, because he is too.
He'd always joke about how alike we were, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing, but we'd still laugh about it. And I remember thinking in 2007, gosh, my dad would have been cracking up at the fact that I got kicked off the team. Not in a good way, but he'd be like, "Oh, there's my baby Hope," just like her father.
We can goof around together. We actually, on my birthday this past year, we raced. He's 50, and he was so convinced that he could beat me. I'm like, "Dad, I'm 24, and you're 50, and you think you can beat me in a race?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, totally." We bet $60, and we filmed it. So, he's so old. He gets maybe an inch off the ground in his stride. And I can see him, and he's grunting. He's like, grunting the whole time. And I'm just dying laughing, and obviously I win. I'm just like, "Dad, you're cute, but you're old now. You have to let it go."
I don't want to just win games. I want to win games. I want to smash teams. But I also want to play in a way that people appreciate what we're doing and why we're trying to do it.
I want to come back and play here next year. I feel like this is a really good place for me and the style that I like to play.
I love Seattle. We have family here. We have our dogs here. Not to mention my commitment level towards Laura and to this city is more than any other team or coach I could ever imagine.
You know, Laura and Bill have talked a lot about building one of the best clubs in the world. They want to be, you know, the best club in the world. And I want to be on board with that experience for sure. I mean, I'm competitive. I want to be the best, and I want to be on the best team. I want to play with the best players.